Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. This is our first live stream, and it may be the only live stream we can do today as we are getting heavy rain now as we speak. My name is Ron Tyler, the president of Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. I'm watching the rainfall right now out my office window. It is coming down gangbusters. Okay? It is raining. Now, I want to tell you this. Okay? Right now, we are going through a heavy rainstorm. This rainstorm is going to get even heavier as the day goes on. I'm not going to blow any dust up your skirts, guys. It's going to be a real bad storm. Now, let me give you an idea exactly what is going to happen today. Okay? Let me take down our video here so we don't have access to that. I want to show you what is going on now. Okay? I'm going to show you a slide here in just a second that is going to show you exactly where the storm is located. This is just off the coast of Florida right now. This storm is going to be a haymaker, literally. It's going to inundate Florida. It's going to inundate Alabama. It's going to inundate Mississippi as well. We asked you last night if you're going to make preparations, do them immediately. Okay? This is the storm that I wanted to tell you about right here. Okay, this is just barely off the coast of Florida now, around what they call the Big Bend region of Florida. This is also the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration slide here, as you can see. This shows the location of Hurricane Helene. It's just off the coast. Now, this storm is going to make landfall here in Florida in the Big Bend area sometime tonight. I'm going to say sometime tonight. This is spreading rainfall into Florida and the southeast with landfall expected tonight. Potentially a catastrophic storm surge. This catastrophic storm surge could occur in Florida's Big Bend region tonight. Life-threatening rainfall, flooding, damaging winds, and some tornadoes will push inland into the southeast. It's already happening. Like I said, Georgia, South and North Carolina are being inundated. West Virginia and Virginia are also going to feel this storm. Those inland threats will be felt in parts of Georgia, the Carolinas, and Tennessee as well. Now, tornadoes are expected in parts of Georgia, North and South Carolina, and Tennessee. The latest is Helene is centered approximately 195 miles southwest of Tampa, Florida, and it's tracking north-northeast at 16 miles per hour. That's a fairly rapid rate. Maximum sustained winds are 110 miles per hour with 120 mile per hour gusts. At this point, Hurricane Helene is a Category 2 storm. It's rapidly approaching a Category 3 storm. It is expected to possibly be even a Category 4 storm by the time the eye hits the coastline. Bands of heavy rain associated with the storm and another weather system continue to pummel parts of Florida and the southeastern part of the United States, prompting occasional flash flood warnings and tornado warnings. As I have spoken before, the outer bands of the hurricane are moving just like this. The outer bands of the hurricane are moving just like this. They're spinning off thunderstorms and tornadoes as the hurricane spins. These outer bands of the hurricane are spinning off tornadoes and thunderstorms as this hurricane spins. Bands of heavy rain associated with the storm, flash flood and tornado warnings are already up. Winds have gusted up to 64 miles per hour in Fort Lauderdale, 56 miles per hour in Naples, Florida this morning. Coastal flooding has been observed on the western Gulf Coast of Florida around the Naples area in the west of Tampa in the Treasure Island region. NOAA's Storm Prediction Center has issued tornado watches into this evening from central and southern Florida Peninsula into parts of southern and eastern Georgia and middle and southern South Carolina. The structure of Helene near its center is limited in its range of intensification. This is going to be very intense as it roars into the land, and it's going to increase in intensification overnight. But now it's getting better organized as it is already over warmer water in the Gulf of Mexico. As it begins to be better organized amid low wind shear, deep warm water from the Gulf of Mexico, which favors additional strengthening prior to landfall tonight. Tropical storm force winds extend 345 miles from the center of Helene. 345 miles from the center of Helene. This is offshore. 195 miles offshore, which means the outer bands of the hurricane that are spinning are already over land. Okay? That large size of hurricane and its increasing forward speed of 16 miles per hour plus are the reasons Helene is posing such a major storm surge danger. Okay, we talked about storm surge last night and the night before that. This storm surge danger at the coastline, as well as widespread high wind and flooding warnings, are up. Okay? In some cases to the south of Florida, the storm surge is going to be upwards of 5 feet high. At the center of Hurricane Helene, we could expect a storm surge to be upwards of 16 feet high. 16 feet high. This storm surge, guys, is bad. Okay? The storm surge is wind-driven waves off the Gulf of Mexico. Wind-driven water waves off the Gulf of Mexico, 16 feet high. It's not just going to be one band of water, it's going to be several waves of water. Okay? And the flooding, the heavy rains, 1 to 3 inches per hour. 1 to 3 inches per hour where we live. Okay? Where we live. Now, I want to show you this next slide here. Just a second here. I'm getting more and more information from the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration as we speak. They're sending me slide after slide, and they're also sending me some videos that I'm not going to pull up until I can vet those videos. Okay? But this is very intense. This is very intense. Look at this slide here. Okay? This is the current wind field and observations. Key West, wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour. Tampa, Florida, 30 to 35 miles per hour. That's what we are expecting here in North Carolina tonight. 30 to 35 mile per hour winds and heavy rain. Tallahassee right now, to the north. It's right now on the outer bands of the storm, as you can see. Wind gusts of 5 to 10 miles per hour. Savannah, Georgia, out on the Atlantic coast, 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusts upwards of 30. That's how far this band of wind is going. The outer bands are reaching up into North Carolina and Virginia as we speak. That's huge. This is huge, guys. Now, do any of you have any questions for me right now? Watches and warnings are in effect. Watches and warnings are already in effect. from Florida's Big Bend and Nature Coast into the middle of Georgia, including from Tallahassee to Albany and Macron. Storm surge warnings extend from Mexico Beach southward to Flamingo, including Tampa Bay and Charlotte Harbor. As shown in the map, tropical storm warnings cover almost the entire rest of Florida and Georgia, not covered by hurricane warnings. All of South Carolina and much of western North Carolina is also in the warning areas. These alerts mean hurricane, tropical storm, and storm surge conditions are expected in these areas as Helene moves. Interest in the warned areas should implement hurricane plans. Your hurricane plans. We can't make those plans for you, as we stated before. We've asked everyone to have an emergency preparedness plan, including for any hurricanes or tropical storms that may come up into your areas. You need to have and implement your own plans and heed any advice from your local emergency managers. Okay? You need to heed local advice. Now, does anybody have any questions about what we're talking about? Renee Steffi's here in the chat saying Chimney Rock, North Carolina, also seen rising floodwaters from the storm. There is a mountain range, or I shouldn't say even a mountain range, but a mountain outpost just west of Morganton, North Carolina. It's called Grandfather Mountain. They have already closed Grandfather Mountain. Nobody should be going up there because of high winds and storm conditions, including flooding. Okay? Shouldn't even go near there. Now, I want to show you something else here. Right here. I'm getting all kinds of information that I'm sharing with you right now. This is the storm surge area. Okay? This is the forecast path of this hurricane. As I said before, it's going to hit in the Big Bend area of Florida. Hurricane warnings extend from Tampa Bay up to Panama City and almost up into Alabama. Tropical storm warnings are in the red area as are shown on this graph here. Hurricane watches are in the orange. You don't see any hurricane watches, and you also don't see any tropical storm watches. These are hurricane warnings as we speak. Okay? Is anybody even ready? Is anybody even ready? Renee and Becca, be safe as well. Okay? Hurricane Heather says Renee and Becky remain safe as well. Lamb is the Light is also here in Asheville, North Carolina, up in the mountains. Asheville, North Carolina is going to be hit as well. Okay? Marion, North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina. Renee, Shelby, North Carolina. Shelby, North Carolina. Everybody needs to be ready. Okay? Burke County, North Carolina. That's where I live. Catawba County, just north of us up in Hickory, North Carolina. You guys also should be ready. Boone, North Carolina. These areas should be on alert and should also be taking precautions as we speak. If you're not going to be ready, and it's possible that you could suffer heavy wind and damage from this storm. I'm putting this out because I want to make sure you're ready. Okay? Hurricane Heather says, prayers up for Lamb and all my family in North Carolina. And thank you, Hurricane Heather. We appreciate that. Renee says, be safe, Ron, and everyone in the path of this storm. Folks, this is bad. Okay? I'm not going to try to blow any wind up anybody's skirts here. This is going to be a bad storm. This could be a hurricane category 4 storm. It's already a category 2. It was referenced to be a category 3 by the time it hit land, and forecasters are now saying this hurricane could be a category 4 storm. I'm just telling you, you need to be prepared. You need to be very prepared. According to the National Weather Service, I just got this in. Helene is going to bring significant flash flooding and possible hurricane force winds and gusts to the western Carolinas and northeast Florida. Changes to watches and warnings? None. None. As you see on this map, the warnings are already up, stretching from southern Florida, the Florida Keys, all the way up to Panama City, Atlanta, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, and also upwards of Charlotte, North Carolina. Current watches and warnings in effect. A tropical storm warning is in effect for Asheville, where Lamazalite is. Asheville, Anderson, Avery, Buncombe, Burke County Mountains, Caldwell Mountains, Catawba County up in Hickory, North Carolina, Central Greenville, South Carolina, Cherokee, Chester, Cleveland, Eastern McDowell County, Eastern Polk, Elbert, Franklin, Gaston, Graham, Greater Burke County, where I live, Greater Caldwell County, Greater Oconee, Greater Pickens, Greater Rutherford, just north of where we live, Greenville Mountains, Greenwood, Habersham, Hart, Haywood, Henderson, Lawrence, Lincoln, Macon, Madison, the McDowell Mountains, Mecklenburg over by Charlotte, North Carolina, Mitchell, North Jackson, northern Spartanburg, South Carolina, Oconee Mountains, the Pickens Mountains, Polk Mountains, Raboon, Rutherford Mountains, southern Greenville, southern Jackson, southern Spartanburg, South Carolina, Stevens, Swain, Transylvania, Union, North Carolina, Union, South Carolina, Yancey, and York. The storm information: about 680 miles south-southwest of Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina, or about 720 miles south-southwest of Asheville, North Carolina. The longitude and latitude, 25.5 north and 85.5 west. Storm intensity, 105 miles per hour. The movement of the storm is now north-northwest or 25 degrees at 14 miles per hour. Situation overview. Hurricane Helene is expected to make landfall over the Florida Panhandle this evening, and it's going to move quickly north through Georgia. Significant, potentially catastrophic flash flooding and major mainstream river flooding is expected over portions of the northern Carolinas and western Carolinas and northeast Georgia later today and into Friday. Potentially, especially along the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountain Escarpment. That is the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains where I live, just to give you an idea. Wind gusts of up to 60 to 70 miles per hour where we live here in North Carolina. Now, upwards of 80 miles per hour across the higher ridge tops will be associated with Helene as the center of the storm tracks just west of the county tonight. Warning areas tonight into Friday morning. The combinations of saturated soils and strong wind gusts will result in numerous downed trees, leading to numerous power outages. Numerous landslides may also occur across the mountains, with large damaging debris flows as slope failures are possible. Slope failures are landslides. Slope failures are landslides, guys. Landslides may occur. Brief isolated tornadoes are also possible here. Potential impacts: flooding rains, Protect against life-threatening rainfall flooding possible. Have possible impacts across North Carolina mountains, northeast Georgia, and upstate South Carolina. Potential impacts include extreme rainfall flooding may prompt numerous evacuations and rescues. Rivers and tributaries may overwhelmingly overflow their banks, and in many places with deep moving water. Small streams, creeks, canals, and arroyos, and ditches may become raging rivers today in the mountain areas. Deadly runoff may rage down valley floors, while increasing susceptibility to rock slides and mudslides. Flood control systems and barriers may become stressed and overflow. Floodwaters can enter numerous structures within multiple communities, some structures becoming uninhabitable or washed away. Numerous places where floodwaters may cover escape routes. Floodwaters and mud will cover escape routes. Streets and parking lots may become rivers of raging water. Numerous roads and bridge closures with some weakened or washed out as well. There's already, I heard, some bridge closures up in the mountains just west of us. Damage to porches, awnings, carports, sheds, and unanchored mobile homes. Unsecured lightweight objects are going to be blown about, and that's why we've asked everybody to clear their property. Make sure you picked up any large wood that is laying on the ground, any picnic tables, any swings, any toys that you or your family may have out in your yards. Pick them up and put them in the structure. Okay? Many large tree limbs are broken off. Many trees will snap or be uprooted, with greater numbers in places where trees are shallow. Some fences and road signs will be blown over. A few roads are going to become impassable with debris, particularly within the urban and heavily wooded areas. Hazardous driving conditions on bridges and other elevated roadways are possible. Roadways are already closed in places in South and North Carolina. The occurrence of scattered tornadoes can hinder the execution of emergency plans during tropical events. The occurrence of scattered tornadoes can hinder the execution of emergency plans during tropical events. Several places have experienced tornado damage, with a few spots of considerable damage, power loss, and communication failures. Homes are being demolished already because of the high winds associated with the storm and the outer bands of the hurricane. Homes are being demolished. Vehicles tumbled. Large trees smashed. Boxcars on railways overturned. Small boats tossed about. Dangerous projectiles can add to this toll. When it comes to evacuation orders, follow the advice of your local officials. If you see the water rising in your area, evacuate yourself without being forced to do so. If you're being forced to do so, that means conditions have already gotten to the point where it's too dangerous to travel. You should make these advanced plans already. We've talked to everybody over the years about having an emergency plan. You need to execute that emergency plan immediately. Okay? When it comes to evacuations, don't wait to be evacuated. If you believe your life or family or property is in danger, leave. Get your emergency kits, get all of your jackets that you may need, get all the foodstuffs and water that you're going to need for at least a week. Get all of that, put that in the car with your kids, your pets. Do not forget your pets. Now is the time to complete all emergency preparations to protect your life and property. In accordance with your emergency plan, follow it. Ensure you are in a safe location before the onset of strong winds or possible flooding. Keep cell phones well charged. Cell phone charges for automobiles can be helpful, but beware of your risk for deadly carbon monoxide poisoning. Make sure you park your vehicle so it can adequately breathe, meaning the tailpipe will be above water. If you park your car in an area where the tailpipe is going to be exposed to the floodwaters, you may experience carbon monoxide poisoning in your vehicle. Get out of there. Do not allow that to happen. It's important that you keep your car and your people in your car, including your pets, well ventilated. If you leave your car idling in a garage in a poorly ventilated area, you're exposing your family and yourself to deadly carbon monoxide poisoning. It's important to remain calm, informed, and focused during an emergency. Be patient and helpful with those that you may encounter. Be patient and helpful to those that you may encounter. Now, rapidly rising floodwaters are deadly. They're already rapidly rising here. My wife and I went to check on some garbage cans at a church that we were responsible for. The stream in through that park that we passed was almost overflooding its banks. We are going to see rising floodwaters, and those rising floodwaters are deadly. If you are in a flood-prone area, consider moving to higher ground. Never ever drive through a flooded roadway. Remember, those flooded roadways can turn into rivers, and if the pavement is undermined by the water underneath the roadway, it can collapse and land you and your car deep in floodwaters. Don't risk it. Do not risk your life of your family or yourself to these floodwaters. If driving, scan the roadside for quick shelter options. Closely monitor weather.gov, NOAA Weather Radio, or local news outlets. Now, we've talked about having an AM/FM weather radio. An AM/FM weather radio. If you don't have the weather radio option, the NOAA weather radio option, keep your radios tuned to a news talk station. A news talk station has news, weather, and sports. Don't go to a music station. Do not go to HGTV on television or anything like that. Keep your radios and TVs tuned to a news talk station. Those news stations will give you the latest information on what is happening with Hurricane Helene and other emergency operations in your towns and cities. For additional disaster preparedness information, see redcross.org. Come over here to Emergency Management Associates. As long as we possibly can, we're going to be on the air later tonight. As this storm moves over into land, we will try to be on the air later tonight to give you more up-to-date information. Okay? I've given you the latest weather statement from the National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanville, South Carolina. The next weather statement will be given about 2 hours from now. So we will be back on the air to talk about this about 6 p.m. this evening. 6 p.m. this evening. Now, I want to give you the latest information from the Weather Channel. I'm going to bring that up right now. I want you to hear this report from the Weather Channel. I had this all keyed up here. I can't believe it. I had already keyed up. We shouldn't have any ads at all. And the first thing I have is an ad. And it's not moving. Go figure. As soon as we can bypass this, we will. As soon as we skip by it, we will.
Racing north across the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, I don't believe it. Give me just a second again. I'm sorry, guys.
Hurricane racing north across the Gulf of Mexico. It looks like an eye is starting to develop, indicating that strengthening will continue. Helene is forecast to intensify into a major hurricane before making landfall along Florida's Big Bend Thursday night. Helene will weaken as it moves inland, but not quick enough, as its fast forward speed should allow it to maintain its hurricane status as it moves into Georgia Friday morning. The wind field is huge as tropical storm force winds extend 345 miles from the center of the storm, so impacts will be felt far away from those in the cone. Tree damage and power outages are a big concern. Helene is going to slow down once it moves inland, increasing the threat for heavy rain and flash flooding across the Southeast and Tennessee Valley over the next few days.
Change is something we should embrace together. With foresight built on expert insights, we will help you step into the future with confidence. D.A. Davidson.
The tropical moisture from Helene will interact with a stalled front to bring a multi-day threat for heavy rain and flash flooding to the Southeast and Tennessee Valley. The peak areas show where the highest risk for flooding will be Thursday. A very likely risk doesn't get issued often, so please take warnings seriously. This includes Tallahassee, Albany, Atlanta, and Asheville. The flood threat shifts north Friday and includes the Tennessee Valley along with the Ohio Valley. We are very concerned about flooding potential in the southern Appalachians. Rain totals could exceed a foot of rain in these areas, leading to landslides in the steeper terrain.
Listen to what she said. She said a foot of rainfall, 12 inches of rain.
Significant river flooding is also possible, with some rivers potentially getting close to record high levels.
Okay? That's big time. This is big time, guys. That's big time. Does anybody have any questions about anything we said today? Renee says we're tied, Ron. Incredible. Renee Steffi says first floor flooding confirmed for homes between Abe Mountain Road and River, with residents already being evacuated. It's dangerous. I've been told by the Morganton Emergency Management from the city that some evacuations here in Morganton have already been made. Those evacuations are along the Catawba River. We have the Catawba River running right straight through Morganton, not downtown, but to the south of the Morganton area. Okay? It's already happening. Richard Smith in the chat saying, Ron, it looks like bad stuff is heading for you from Rock Hill, Shelby direction. I agree. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate it. If any of you have any information for me between now and 6 p.m., send it over to our email portion, and we will get to it, and we'll address it after we get to it, okay? We appreciate it. Sagepup says Blue Ridge Parkway is closed and all campgrounds are evacuated. Yes, Sagepup, that's what we were told by emergency management from Morganton City. Okay? Blue Ridge Mountain Parkway is already closed. Erlinda Mustafa says Kissimmee, Florida. Or Kissimmee, Florida. Kissimmee, Florida. This is going to be a bad storm. This is going to be the worst hurricane that we've seen this year. This is at least going to be a Category 3, possibly even a Category 4 storm by the time it hits the Big Bend area of Florida tonight, late tonight. Any questions? If you want to help support this channel, folks, please do so. Go over to our PayPal locations. You can access our PayPal locations in the top of the program description directly beneath this video today. Go to our PayPal and help support this channel today. You can do that. You can also send letters and cards with donations to our post office box, which is 104 North Green Street, Box 105. 104 North Green Street, Box 105, Morganton, North Carolina. Zip code is 28655. That is on the scrolling part right on the bottom of our program today. Okay, our address is there, our email is there. Please exercise those and give us your support. Send us your support, and also give us any emergency information that you have for us so we can alert others today when we come on the air this evening. I appreciate all of you being with us. I thought this was only going to be a subscriber membership only, but it turns out YouTube did not make it so. So I'm glad everybody was able to be here with us. We appreciate that. I hope you have a good day. Be safe out there. Make sure you are exercising your emergency plans. Also, folks, if you will, please give us a thumbs up before you leave today. Give us a thumbs up and let YouTube know and let us know that you appreciate the information we're providing you today with your families. Again, do not evacuate without taking your pets and your children with you. Do not evacuate without taking your pets and your children with you. Okay? We have more information for you tonight as to what the election is going to have in store for us in November. And be advised, the Democrats are already picking off their own that don't completely support them. New York Mayor Adams has been taken down. He's now being charged by the federal government with financial crimes. He's now being charged by the federal government with financial crimes. If you don't totally support the Democrats, guess what? You're gone. I hope you have a good rest of the afternoon. We will see you at 6 p.m. tonight, 3 hours from now. Have a good day. Be safe out there. We love you very much. Enjoy your day and have fun. Love each other. We will talk to you soon. God be with you until we meet again. Enjoy. Be safe. We'll see you soon.